Welcome to the TalkersandGeeks.com reviews. Justin here, and today I'll be reviewing the anime film The Garden of Woods, which is directed by Makoto Shinkai. Let's talk a little bit about the stories and the characters, but as usual, here is a brief synopsis of the film. When Takeo, a young high school student who dreams of becoming a shoe designer, decides to skip school one day in favor of sketching in a rainy garden, he has no idea how much his life will change when he encounters Yukino. Older but perhaps not as much wiser, she seems adrift in the world, and despite the differences in their ages, they strike up an unusual relationship that unexpectedly continues evolving, without planning, with random meetings that always occur in the same garden on each rainy day. But the rainy season is coming to a close, and there are so many things still left unsaid or undone between them. Will there be time left for Takeo to put his feelings into action in words? Between the raindrops, between the calms and the storm, what will blossom in the Garden of Words? Now, if those who are familiar, I just want to go on record. I am a huge Makoto Shinkai fan. Love all his movies, from The Voices of a Distant Star, The Place Promised in Our Early Days, 5 centimeters per second, Children of Lost Voices, and this one now too. This is a good one. I would say this is a good, but it's not his best. This is definitely not his best work. I did enjoy it, but I'm starting to see it. His movies are starting to become like probably a same tone or same beat of two characters lost or alone. They are so distant from each other, and they have to come back to each other, or they find, usually find their way towards the end towards to each other. The movie story and character wise, I did like the story of this setup of this young high school kid who basically is trying to find his way in the world. He's trying to find his place. He has a dream of becoming a shoe designer. And for some reason, every rainy day, he decides that he wants to get inspired, or he wants to start doing his designs to take time. So he'll miss first period all the time. And this is when he meets that woman, Yukino. And she's just... I love her character, because when you're introduced to her, she's introduced to you as this drunk girl, or a drunkard, and she's just basically drinking her life away. All you see is on the bench drinking beer like non-stop. She has like 2 or 3 beers, and she starts to you can tell she's a character that has a lot of layers, and she has a character that you want to know more about her. Why is she drinking so much? That's one of the questions. What made her drink so much? Why is she the way she is? And it's a nice little twist to it at the end. Character-wise, it is a good chemistry between these two. You will understand why these two are very connected, because they're both looking for the same thing. They're both looking for their path. They're both looking for some sense of purpose. And watching that and trying to see how these two are going to play off each other when the feelings develop a little bit more is very enjoyable to watch. I would say the flaw of this story is there is a little plot holes in there, and there's stories that are introduced that do not fully get explored. Like, for instance, Takeo's mother is a drunk. He mentions it from time to time, but it's not really explored a little bit more on the mother's character. It's just mentioned, it's just a little hinted. You're introduced to his brother, who's getting married to his girlfriend, and he's supposed to be a little bit more of a supporting cast, but he's not really fully explored. The anime is only 46 minutes, but it could have been a little bit longer to flesh out supporting characters that we didn't really, who were actually interested, but we didn't really get to see had their time on the film. I would say another flaw is that the way the relationship works, it is nice, but at the same time, it's kind of not believable in a way, because the films just developed just like that. And the ending, I felt that it was kind of rushed, because once the twist is there, and once you find out about Yukino's past, and how when he finally admits his love for her and everything else, it just like, okay, we gotta wrap it up. I felt the ending was a little bit rushed, but overall, it is a very good story. I did like the two characters, the interaction, the chemistry is really well. There's a couple of plot holes from here and there, but it doesn't hurt the film. But it could have been a really, really longer film. This, like I said, this is not his best work to me. Let's go into the voice acting. Voice acting I did enjoy from both Japanese cast and English cast. I felt that the performances were really well done. Overall, there's only really two main characters that you really have to focus on the performances, and that's Yukino and Takao, because mainly they're the only ones who get most of the screen time. So, English voice acting wise, Patrick Pulley, who plays the male lead, did a really good job. I really did enjoy the ending of his performance when he just let all the emotions out, and he gets really emotional when he's confessing and he's trying to put everything out on the table. And I did enjoy Maggie Flecknoll's performance as Yukino as well, who was really stellar job. Just that has that nice mature voice of an older woman, and it's really believable performances. So overall, the voice acting I really did enjoy. It was really good. Nothing really to complain about. So let's go into music and animation. Music and animation. One thing you can always expect from Makoto Shinkai's films is top-notch production and composition-wise in music, and top-notch production and animation. And this movie, The Garden of Words, is no different. The animation, once again, just screams beautiful art. And what really stands out about this animation this time around is the use of precipitation. Like, when you see the rain, it looks really realistic. It is such well done, especially when it comes to the reflection of the water dropping into the pool and the reflection of use of light. It's really great. It looks beautiful. The character designs are beautiful. The lighting is what always shines in this man's animes, and this was really no different. It's beautiful. Desta has that same feel as his previous films of Voices of a Distant Star, Place Promise in Our Early Days, 5 centimeters per second, and Children Who Lost Voices. But it still looks wonderful, and music-wise, you're always going to expect pianos. And the composition, it was beautiful. It's nice, it's classic, sets the tone, and most of all, it is relaxing. And it's a little bit romantic in certain scenes as well. I mean, the composition in his films always seem to string you along emotionally. It always seems to know how to hit the right beat, the right tone, the right moment. And I really did enjoy the composition. I'm going to be actually looking for the OST for this one as well. So I will go for the final grade. I'm going to give this anime a B-. Like I said, it is a decent anime. This is not his best work, but at the same time, it was enjoyable to watch. I wish there were characters that were a little fleshed out a little bit more, and things that were at least more explored. Would love to learn more of the backstory of our main male lead's childhood, of his mother and how she became a drunk and everything else. Wish that certain things were just better left not to be introduced. I felt the ending was a little bit rushed, and it's not really a tearjerker, but it's something that you kind of going to expect and predict because of the age differences. And usually when it comes to age differences in certain relationships, especially a high school kid and an older woman, you'll find out, you can probably pretty guess the ending, what's going to happen to these guys. But overall, it is an enjoyable anime. I do recommend you watch it, but it's still not his best work. So final grade for The Garden of Words is a B-. This is Justin from otakusandgeeks.com saying later days. Catch you on the next one.